Yo, what's up? Welcome to the stream, everybody. How's it going? I'm so excited to be back to Age of Empires 4. I played quite a lot, but I still feel like I don't get to play it enough. How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? So, bad news. We can't watch people's match history anymore, as they have hidden it again, since the Genesis qualifier is over. However, good news, next week when there is another tournament, the Genesis actual tournament, we're going to be able to sneak peek again, so we should prepare to see who we're going to be wanting to study. Anyway, you're mostly seeing French faction anyway. Might be a little bit influenced by the fact that Dry Arabia was the main map for the tournament for whatever reason, which I think Dry Arabia is Age of Empires' last temple. And while I haven't played Age of Empires 2, that's probably where it came from. I believe this is like the Age of Empires 2 default map. It's what our Lost Temple or our Twisted Meadows from Warcraft 3. And at least it has no water. But you can still do Mountain Pass, Lipany, High View, Altai, French Pass. Arabia is the main map in AOE2 for every tourney. Okay. So that one is supposedly a little better for the French. So here's what I wanted to do today, among other things. Arabia was the map in AOE2 and is still considered the masterclass for AOE2 gameplay. I see. So, how is AOE4 compared to SC2 or Warcraft 3? Oh, you should check my pacing video. Here, I link it to you. CMD add pacing. Pacing comparison SC2, Warcraft 3 and AOE4. Interesting video of the Spearman brace mechanic against cavalry.
Hello everyone, Waddling Duck here to explain a hidden ability that all spearmen have in Age of Empires 4. A lot of people seem vaguely aware that spearmen can brace for impact against incoming cavalry. There's a loading screen tip that vaguely references spearmen being able to counter cavalry charges, but aside from that, it is a completely hidden mechanic. I have tested the mechanics so that you can use it properly and know exactly how it works and when it is triggered.
Good.
If you give a spearman the command to stand ground, you can see them visually lower themselves into a squat and aim their spears directly forward. This is in fact their hidden bracing ability. However, you do not need to use the stand ground command to achieve it, and in many scenarios, stand ground is not the optimal way to use it.
Press stop, right?
Before we get into how to use it, I'll first go over what it does. When a cavalry unit charges into a spearman that is bracing, the charge is completely negated, dealing no damage. It also stuns and roots the cavalry. In most cases, the distinction between stun and root will be meaningless, but there is potential for optimizing your microplay using this distinction, which I will cover later in this video. Finally, sometimes bracing will count as a hit from the spearman, but sometimes it doesn't. This is clearly buggy, and it almost always deals no damage. There are 3 distinct animation phases while brace plays out. The first phase begins when the cavalry unit hits the brace. During this animation, both units are locked in place and cannot move or attack. The exact timing on this varied by about half a second, and I got values ranging from 0.6 to 1.2 seconds.
Poor horse.
The second phase has the knight stunned while the spearman is free to move and attack. Again, I was getting a range of values, but the average time for a spearman to land a hit on the cavalry was 1.35 seconds after the brace hit. The cavalry unit generally became unstunned at 2 seconds after the brace. The third phase has the knight able to attack but unable to move. This one was very consistent when measured from the brace hit, with the root wearing off between 3.1 and 3.3 seconds after the hit in every test I performed. As discussed later, generally this extra root is irrelevant. The ability to negate a charge and also stun cavalry for 2 seconds seems incredibly strong. In a 1v1, the spearmen will get about 1.5 free hits. However, other units supporting the spearmen are not animation locked during the brace and get the full 2 seconds to attack. There are a few other scenarios that I tested as well. I did specifically test the Royal Knight's charge. In negating the charge with brace, the Royal Knight's passive ability does not trigger, and they do not gain their buff for additional damage.
Oh.
I also tested what happens if a group of cavalry charges a single spearman. Every charging unit will be locked in the first phase animation and has their charge negated. However, only a single unit will be locked in the second and third phases.
Wow.
This means that a single spearman has the potential to negate the charge damage and buffs for an entire group of Royal Knights, despite only a single knight being stunned.
Wow.
Now we get into how to trigger the brace ability. The easiest way to use a spearman's brace is to simply do nothing. If you keep the spearman idle, it will automatically detect incoming cavalry charges, redirection himself to face it, and brace for impact. The big caveat with this is that the spearman has to be completely idle. He cannot be walking or attack moving. There's potential for the opponent to bait your spearman out to get him moving, and then send in a charge afterward. However, it seems like usually the idle spearman that has been baited in this manner will still in fact automatically brace for a subsequent charge.
Okay.
I believe that the trigger here is whether or not the spearman has actually started attacking a unit, or if he is merely chasing after one. In this way, being baited to chase operates differently than manual commands, as a spearman that is moving or attack moving to your command will not brace under any circumstances. Next, we have the stand ground version of bracing. You do not run the risk of being baited out of position, but there are several drawbacks to using stand ground. First, orientation matters if stand ground is used, while it does not matter if the spearman is idle.
Oh.
An attack from directly behind an idle spearman will have the spearman reposition to brace, while an attack directly behind a stand ground spearman will have the charge hit the spearman in the back. Next, the range of the brace ability exceeds the range of melee attacks. If you have stand ground selected, the spearman will simply stand idle for the entirety of the stun and root duration. If you left the spearman idle, the spearman will automatically take a step forward after the brace animation finishes and get a hit off on the cavalry unit before the stun wears off. This is also where I learned that there is a distinction between stun and root. If a unit is in melee range, the knight remains stunned for 2 seconds. If there is not any unit in melee range, the knight cannot move until 1 more second later. While I think that this will rarely be practical, it does deserve mention. In the case of it being only spearmen against cavalry, you will definitely want to get that extra hit off on the cavalry during the stun. However, if you have a small front line of spearmen in front of a large mass of ranged units, you might actually want the spearmen to stay out of range of the knight for that extra second, as the damage from the spearmen itself may be negligible.
Let me listen to this again.
This will rarely be
I was
ranged.
busy.
The knight cannot move until 1 more seconds. If there's not any unit in melee range, the knight cannot move until 1 more second later. While I think that this will rarely be practical, it does deserve mention. In the case of it being only spearmen against cavalry, you will definitely want to get that extra hit off on the cavalry during the stun. However, if you have a small front line of spearmen in front of a large mass of ranged units, you might actually want the spearmen to stay out of range of the knight for that extra second, as the damage from the spearmen itself may be negligible and you might just be taking unnecessary damage. There are a few minor visual bugs that I'll mention here. While stunned and rooted, the knight can pivot in place based on his current movement command. In some of the clips I've shown in this video, you will see that the knight is stunned facing away from the spearman. This is because I ordered it to retreat the moment the charge hit the brace. Also, having a charge negated by the brace ability does put the charge on cooldown. However, the visuals for the lance are not replaced by visuals for the sword until the knight is both issued an attack command and is able to attack.
Wow.
This can lead to confusing situations where you have retreated, but it still shows a lance despite the charge being on cooldown.
Yeah. Bug.
Also interesting, that the brace ability works against all cavalry charges, and not just charges that deal extra damage. This means that horsemen, which have a charge animation that does not deal any extra damage, can still have their first hit negated and suffer from a stun. After learning this, I also tested melee infantry, since melee infantry also have a charge animation which increases their move speed. Brace did not work against the infantry.
Which, by the way, is mentioned nowhere. Like, Everyone has like a zealot charge ability in this game, like all melee and all melee infantry, and I don't think it's listed anywhere.
But now we know that for certain. I have one final mechanic worth noting, this time from the
Do you
viewpoint
think
of...
they meant to put in this much complexity? Well, yeah, of course. This doesn't code itself. It's not like random evolution. Let's just throw ones and zeros together and it's gonna happen by accident. The disconnect that happens is where it's just documentation, right? Different versions, documentation, and cleaning up and finishing. So you could say like, oh, this game came out too early. But I would like to say, F you. I'm glad it's out. I didn't know it, but I could be playing it now. Now, do I think it's 100% perfect yet? No. And they don't have a lot of the documentation and tooltips, right? But what's that song from Michael Bublé? I just haven't met you yet. He's like in love with someone that he hasn't met yet. That was me in AOE4.
Unit. If you manually move the cavalry close to the spearmen without an attack move, you can get inside of the minimum charge radius. If you do this, you may then issue an attack order.
Wait, what?
And they will use their stum to manually move the mechanically, but now we know that for certain. I have one final mechanic worth noting, this time from the viewpoint of the cavalry unit. If you manually move the cavalry close to the spearmen without an attack move, you can get inside of the minimum charge radius. If you do this, you may then issue an attack order, and they will use their standard melee attack without charging, thus bypassing the brace mechanic and not getting stunned. The last thing we need right now is a tactic to further strengthen feudal age knights, but now we know it'll just be that much tougher to repel properly microed knights.
Yeah, so
Thank you all for watching, and I hope that you learned something new in this video.
You guys should follow the channel.
If you enjoyed this content, please subscribe so that you don't miss out on more to come.
I'm gonna like it. I don't subscribe on this account, but I'll subscribe on my personal account. Hey grubEle, are you releasing the Abbasid build order today? Yes. Link to channel, ! Brace. I'll put it in the title. What? Why are you blue shocked facing? What's going on? Oh, I wanted to do something. I wanted to make a plan of my first 3 priorities every time I get to a new age. Or let's say, yeah, I'm gonna have a Roost build order. Chat, did I make it yet? I don't remember if I made it yet. Let's see. I wanted to come up with the 3 priorities. Let's say I'm focusing on Abbasid Dynasty or Rus today. Both is fine. I did make a Rus build order. Yeah, it should be coming up soonish then. What race is closest to Orc? I don't know. There's no real one-to-one comparison. Orc tends to, in this meta, play passive creeping. In the current meta, it's Farseer Headhunter passive creeping, but you have to react to Elvish expansion and you have to react to human expansion. They do it better. You even have to react to undead creeping. So you're actually one of the most reactive players that has to pressure. So I'd say Mongols. I think Mongols are most likely to Orc. Rus or Mongols, maybe. Let's say I'm focusing on Abbasid Dynasty today. What are my 3 priorities in Dark Age? Survive. Dark Age is, of course, aging up. Let's see. Infantry buildings are able to construct rams. Oh yeah, and see, ram all in. Walls versus French and English and Mongols. Because I think Abbasid is good, but they're not as proactive as Rus, Mongols in so like French have a 530 threat. English roughly same, or even earlier. Maybe it's like 545 threat. Royal Calf. English threat should be roughly the same time, but then even they move slower, but they produce faster. Maybe it's about the same. Longbow threat. Mongols tier 1 threat. Walls versus French, or outposts versus Mongols. Rus has early knights as well. Yeah. Rus, tier 2 knights. H2. Thanks for the sub, Alternative Hood. Extend Golden Age influence. Yeah, aging up. 10 out of 10 influence. Golden Age. Outpost versus Mongols. And who else are there? Delhi, lol. Yeah, the rest is fine. Chinese, Holy Roman Empire, Delhi are more defensive. Okay, then. Feudal Age. Can you pressure as Abbasid dynasty against the aggressive factions? Can you go horsemen or archers or spearmen pressure into English? No. Versus defensive factions? Let's see. I don't think you get to pressure a lot, actually. English have longbowmen that beat everything you can make. Everything except light horsemen, and the light horsemen are a really big food sink. Weak versus melee, effective at raiding and flanking. Really, they're only good against archers, and you cannot pressure a Englishman. Against Chinese, you can consider pressure. Can consider horseman pressure only versus Chinese and Delhi. Mongols. They're gonna go Mangidai, so they're gonna kill your horses. Rus, maybe. You could do it against Rus. Holy Roman Empire. Can pressure worse faction than itself. Yeah, that's true. I don't think you even want to do it against Rus because they're gonna make knights. Camel archers are not good against cavalry, funnily enough. They are good into spearmen only. And camel riders are good into knights and horsemen only. Camel riders do not actually do well into cavalry because they cannot move while shooting. Isn't HRE MAA enough to defend horsemen? Yeah, and in that case you're trading 100 food units against each other. That's why you can consider it, but it's not guaranteed to get value. You are scouting. You're scouting. Not possible to be age too aggressive normally versus English. English, Mongol, I would say. Mongol is possible. It depends how greedy they are, I guess. French. English, French, I'm sure of. The rest, I'm just gonna leave it at. Then, Gaul. Second town center. Vills are cheap with Eco Wing. So 400 wood, 300 stone. I don't think it's too loud. Second town center. And then of course you're just countering whatever they're doing. I don't think there's much more to it. You want to get, of course, the upgrade, the fresh foodstuffs. How good is camel support? It's decent. If you were to go for it first. Spice roads. That's pretty cool. Phalanx. Camel. I heard camel barding is bugged and doesn't actually do anything. Yeah, I'll learn more about Delhi and play them again later. Aren't camel archers a perfect counter to Mangudai? Archers are the best counter to Mangudai. Camel riders are way too expensive. If you look at Mangudai... Wait. Oh, from the archery range. That's always confusing to me. Mangudai is 120 and camel rider is 180 and 60. What is your gold strategy? What do you wish to spend your gold in? That's a great question and helpful to become better. So, we need 125 gold for fruit stuff. Gold spending management. 125 G for fresh foodstuffs. And then how many other upgrades do we want? Is the question. For example, are we getting Hardened Spearman upgrade? Which, by the way, it doesn't show in the barracks. But I know it costs gold. I think it's 75. To be honest, Spearmen, they're necessary sometimes. 75G for Spearman. If he's French, Mongol, or Rus. I have a 100% win rate yesterday using your HRE build order. Nice. Stopping after one game, right? I'm curious about the worker to army ratio. Do you want to be sitting around 60 to 70 workers, or am I overdoing it? You're underdoing it. You want 120 villagers. We need 600 gold eventually for H3. Yeah, which of these do we get? 50 for forestry, 50G for forestry. We don't get double broad axe, it's too expensive. 15% gathering rate. It's usually better to make a new sawmill every now and then. This is also too expensive, actually. Survival techniques, hunted meat carry capacity. I had someone tell me that this doesn't work on sheep. Did you remove the Christmas card reward? Yes, I always end it in October. Because we need to know how many cards to order. Sheep aren't hunted? Yeah, I guess not. So which of the mill upgrades is worth it? Carry capacity of villagers by 5 and their movement speed by 15. This doesn't help on gold. It doesn't help on stone because you always build it right next to it. It doesn't help on farms, not particularly much on berry bushes. It works a bit on Gaia because it's a bit of a further walk. This almost doesn't matter much actually, and it's very expensive. You want this maybe in H3. I keep getting it quite early and I think it's a mistake. It's best for wood, actually. Thank you for the subs, Resigon, Anna Duditor, Heinz Becker, and Lucifer. Louifer. Oh yeah, it does help to escape melee unit raids. The movement speed is neat. But 150 gold 50? I think it's better to make an outpost. So I will get neither of these. Horticulture though, this one's pretty solid. But again, I don't think you want to get it too soon. 175 gold. No, I think blacksmith upgrades maybe are the best. I think you should only get forestry. Boomery? Melee damage. This one is not very good actually. For the most part, like early on. It doesn't really change how many hits the spearman needs to do on the knights all too much. You do 27 damage with the spearman, and then you do 28. It's just not like a spearman into knight. Steeled arrow is very important. Melee armor, not very important. Spearman versus spearman is whatever, that's almost never gonna happen. You don't have man at arms. Does this work on villagers? Is there value in wheelbarrow in the fact that the number of times your villagers have to transport goods is decreased by 50%? It really depends. Like I said, farms, berry bushes, most Gaia, gold and stone, you're almost always directly next to your deposit building. Whereas for wood, there's more and more travel time. Gaia is the collective Age of Empires 2 term for huntables, herdables, all the wildlife. It's fauna. My friend said wheelbarrow is better than most people think because it reduces the amount of time villagers spent in the drop-off animation as well. Really? I also had a viewer tell me that he tested everything very extensively and the only ones that he found worth it on H2 are wheelbarrow and forestry. Okay. We can consider it. Wheelbarrow. Maybe wheelbarrow, 150G. If not aging 3 fast. And then blacksmith upgrades. I'd say steeled arrow, 125. And maybe iron undermash. Best blacksmith upgrades. Steeled arrow, 125G. Iron undermesh, 125G. So the total minimum is 125, maybe 200, 250G. Total max usually before H3 is 125 plus 75 plus 50 plus 150 plus 125 plus 125, 650. And then aging up to castle. And that costs 600G. So total need between 850 to 1250, not counting marketplace exchanges. Docks cost 150 wood. The gathering rate is highest in game on deep fish, and now your villagers cost wood. What's if this is for? Abbasid dynasty. See, this is a Abbasid dynasty. Gold spending is a horizontal across all ages or just for H2? I don't know what that means. Mostly I think it's not worth getting most of the economic upgrades on H2 and delaying your castle for it. Like, if you actually decided to get specialized pick and double broad axe and horticulture all on H2, that's another near 600 gold. You add survival techniques to it, professional scouts, that's like 1,000 gold. You could have gone H3 already with it. Consider textiles if you're losing vills against melee. Yeah, 100 gold. It might be good into Royal Knights. It might be good, but it's yeah, it's one villager. Okay, H3. In H3, you would need gold for an imam, 150. But is it priority? No. All of your siege costs gold. But anyway, what are your priorities in H3 normally? At that moment, I'm not going to count the build out as much with gold spending and stuff. I would say fortifying a quality position with a keep, but it's not the first priority. Get siege weaponry of choice, springles or mangonels or trebuchet. It really depends on the game state. Pressure. Otherwise, defense. Plus boom. Second town center. Aging up. What is the primary objective of aging? The quality of your units and yeah, the quality of your unit composition. Because you can't get siege weaponry until castle. For example, you need mangonels to deal with giant archer balls. You need springles to deal with enemy mangonels to protect your archer ball or infantry ball. And you need trebuchets to break fortified positions without losing any units. Insane range, great against buildings, useless against others. Add in TCs and keep cost stone when you go stone. It really depends on your game plan, which is why I'm trying to kind of like flesh out some game plans and to remember when it would be good to be pressuring or not. Now, this is blind pressure. I'm talking about blind pressure here. This isn't about your opponent attacked, lost a lot, you realize they're weak, you're doing good, you're actually going for a feudal ram rush. That's always possible, even with normal archers into longbowmen. That's always possible. But you're not generally thinking, I'm gonna go ahead and kill my French opponent now. Yeah, trebuchets have the biggest range in the game, I believe. They're very expensive, but they're just a timer on enemy building. Yeah, don't ball up so much. That helps too, of course. So you get your siege weaponry of choice, fortify a quality position with a keep. Let's see. Let's look at some of the upgrades. Go. Obviously, you would get go veteran on units you have enough of. Even if. Yeah, go veteran on units you have enough of. Usually 2 types. So let's say it's archers. You would need veterancy on archer. How much does that cost? I'm trying to remember here, but I don't know. I think it's 250. Does anyone know? Veteran archer upgrade. You wouldn't get most of these upgrades. I think it's 250. It's weird that it doesn't show, yeah. All of the eco upgrades cost 350, but I think by the time you get to castle, you can get some of these. Like level 1, level 1, level 1 would be good. So that's 175, 350, 450, 525. 525. Let's like get all the level 1 econ upgrades. 525. 3 times 175. And this is 250 plus 250 is 500G. It seems to me that in the end game you can get better units that have less pop space but cost more resources. Less pop space. Yeah, you would want more blacksmith upgrades. Late game army is usually bombards. Bombards, hand cannoneer, or bombards, archers. Kind of depends on your wealth. And then man at arms. Maybe some mangonel. In terms of get siege, consider ram push built by spears archers with this civ. Yeah, but that's not a priority. Like, I'm not gonna say my priority is ram push. That is a response, not something that's part of a of something standard. That's right, Nemat. Do rams take 1 damage from ranged attack in this game? Yes, just 1. You probably want balanced projectiles. Again, maybe like 2 blacksmith upgrades. 2 blacksmith upgrades. 500G. So that leaves us with 1500 gold, siege weaponry. So it's gonna be like 2k plus gold at least. 2k plus gold required upon reaching castle age for optimum use. 1.5 to 2k. Because that's gonna allow you to immediately go veteran on 2 types. To get all the economy upgrades, that's 1000. 1 blacksmith upgrade is 250, that's 1250. You would start a siege workshop, or as Abbasid actually you don't know it. As Abbasid actually you don't need it. You can immediately make via infantry building baseline Abbasid. So that's let's say you make a mangonel or a springald. All right. Where's that? 200, 200. Yeah, that's 200. So we're at like we're at 1250, 1275, 1475. So you need 1.5k gold immediately if you want to make use of it all. That's cool. Isn't there a villager HP upgrade? Yeah, I guess that's really helpful for ram pushes. Maybe you want that too. Maybe that should be part of it. It's greedy. I've seen people, even in the tournament, have like 100 plus villagers and not spare 20 seconds and 100 gold for the food, you actually see people arguing for not getting it, and I don't think it makes sense actually. That's gonna look really dumb looking back. This can be like relic site control, sacred site control, mid map control, key gold control, aggressive keep in funnel or defensive funnel keep. Yeah, and then for like Imperial, it's like need all the gold in the world. You're gonna need bombards, 600 gold. You have all these 700 gold upgrades. Would be nice to reach Imperial with 4k gold. Let's say you get 2 madrasa. 2 madrasa upgrades is 1400 Gs. Elite on 2 units, 2 elite units, which is How much are they? The elite units? Is that 500 or 700? $700, Jesus. And I don't think we're gonna get the economy upgrades almost ever. Wow, greasefield axles is 350. That's crazy. That's crazy. And 700G per minute, I'd say, at least. 700, 490 with upgrade. Yeah, because of Abbasid. Oh, yeah. This is with economic wing. Now, the second H is actually a good question. What should you go with from the House of Wisdom? What is the best? And you've got the culture wing that would give you preservation of knowledge, reduce the cost of old tech. That's actually so good. But you can't go H2 with it. Fresh foodstuffs, and then you get agriculture. Farms. 500 gold. This is probably not worth it immediately in Castle Age. It might be, but probably not. I'd say you only want this in Imperial. It's very expensive. I do think you always want to go economic wing, yeah. You're gonna save so much food from it. Without economic wing, it's really hard to afford units and double TC villagers. I find military wing actually a very weak second upgrade. You get your camel support, +1 armor. And you get shields for camel riders, but camel riders aren't that good. And you're not really gonna tank with them a lot. It seems like a super big mistake to go military wing second. I think your second has to be trade or diplomatic, and I think it's diplomatic, but let me just reevaluate one more time what this is. You get gold income from traders by 30%. That's whatever, really. 5 armor to traders and trade ships? Nah. Increase movement speed of camels by 15%. No. 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 Diplomatic should be your second. Culture, I mean. Culture. Your H3, let's say. Keeps heal nearby units. This is pretty solid, actually. It's quite cheap as well. It's only 250. This one's 500. This one's 700. What the what? 200. They all have very different costs. Yeah. Feudal age, economic, eco wing, and castle age has to be culture. What was it called? Culture? Culture wing. And imperial, I would say maybe on French boss you would go for trade wing, but I think it's good to go military. Is it? What do you get? Health of all infantry, 15%. That's really good. Villagers drop off 8% more resources. That's good. Faith. Imams can convert units without holding a relic, but can only target a single unit. Is it point and click though? And what's the cooldown? Faith is bugged. Good bugged or bad bugged? Grand Bazaar. Traders return with a secondary resource. Camel barding. Increase the armor of camel units by 2. I heard this one's bugged. Doesn't work. Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to 6 bombers and convert one. Composite bow. Hey, this is pretty solid. Okay, this should be composite bow. Reload time of archers. That's good. But this is a baseline upgrade. This has nothing to do with trade wing. This is trade wing. This is trade wing, actually. This is always accessible. This is trade wing. And this is military wing. So you get boot camp. That's good. Boot camp is better than Grand Bazaar. Except maybe on French boss. So military is your last. Military. And then, yeah. Military wing on castle age can be good if you want to push and get a free armor. Yeah, I don't think camel support is that. You get one armor upgrade, but are you gonna have all the other armor upgrades already? It's only infantry, not lancers. You can make the fourth wing later, yeah, super late game. In extended castle age wars, yes. So the question is, if you're being pressured if you're being pressured, you're fighting, is it any good to get medical centers? I still think it is good. I think this may be better than camel support. Because I said culture, right? You're unlocking preservation of knowledge. And then you're also able to get medical centers. And for military wing, all you're gonna get is camel support plus 1 armor. And we're talking about like a 20-minute game now. You're gonna get 1 extra armor in a 20-minute game during castle. You're not even gonna get this, camel rider shields. That is not correct. Infantry includes archers, sir. Okay, buddy. Military wing on H3 is more of a timing push thing. 1 armor can be huge. Okay. Or military if very aggro for the +1 armor aura. Or if defending hot stuff. If defending precariously. Okay. This is pretty interesting. I'm gonna try to remember this. I hope I still have time for 1 game. I have time for a game if I play in 30 minutes. I have to finish in 30. Because then I have to cast and I'll be back again tonight. The Mista and other high-level players push with Abbasid Rams a lot. Yeah, if you see the opportunity is there. I'm casting a CCO, the Heroes of the Storm tournament. Not Age of Empires. Sorry. If you're honest, wouldn't you rather be playing some AoE instead of casting heroes at the moment? Well, yeah. But it's okay. I have never worked with a partner as friendly and just wholesome as Heroes Hearth. And this is a long-term thing we've been doing already. And it's really important for the hot scene. Of course, I'm super hooked into Age of Empires right now, and I want to do it more than almost anything. But that doesn't mean that you should only do it. It should, but... yeah, it's probably good to take a break. And it's good to, like... Oh, okay. Water map. We're gonna stream Age like 7 days a week anyway. So it should be fine. The hot scene is better for it when you and Heroes Hearth work together. I think so too. Let's see, what are you? He's Mongols and Chinese. Honestly, it helps with crossover. I don't play this game at all, but I watch it because I know you from HOTS. I can't wait till you start casting AoE. There is a really good caster, Aussie Drongo, Professor Calamari. Not everyone is good because not everyone is experienced. It takes a long time to get better at casting, even for someone that's not maybe naturally talented at casting. You can still become good. It's all about continually evaluating your habits and removing annoying habits from your from your casting repertoire. Yeah, I'm wearing Death Note, so y'all remember it, huh? Paris! I'm actually looking into maybe, and this is super preliminary, but I have a meeting later this week. Preliminarily, seeing if I can be part of organizing some competitions for AOE as well. So the thing I'm about to cast for Heroes Hearth, they do really good production in the Heroes of the Storm scene, and they're keeping like the esports of Heroes of the Storm alive, even when Blizzard said F you. So I think it would be cool, but it's super preliminary. It would be cool to do something together for AOE. So if you're curious about who they are, how they are, it could be fun to check them out. I might cast a bit in a half an hour, 40 minutes. You can kind of get to know them. How can you tell Grubby's race on the UI? You actually can't. But look, Abbasid Dynasty's got these, they always have these, what is it called, sun shields on their buildings. That's how you can recognize them. Yeah, I have a lot of lurkers, Nipa. Yeah, doing good. Yo, thanks for the sub, Narksane and Valve Fabi. Oh, ow, 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 ow. He decided to go full hound. He also blundered through me. Yes, you can actually. There's a flag when you have a unit selected. Really? I don't see it. It's a bit hard to tell with Abbasid because it's black. Okay. Ha ha ha! I'm really sad because I just interrupted ha 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 sound effect. Do you instantly build like that without clicking on it? I don't know. Between the unit name, there's an icon. Oh, okay. Okay. That's good. That's good to know. Let's see, what's the layout here? This is my second TC location. Didn't see a dock here for him yet. Get forestry upgrade. Where's stone? Holy crap, where's stone on this map? It's that far away?
مستعد ذاهبة. ماذا؟ فارس تصعد على مستعد. أيها القرويون أنا أتحرك كما تشاء.
Wow, the wolf got angry.
أمرك أتحرك. بما تأمر؟ أمرك. القرويون ينتظرون. ذاهبة للصعب. بما تأمر؟ سأذهب.
Stay calm.
أتحرك الآن. أمره سأفعل. الأوامر أحدهم يطلق علينا. جائز للعمل.
He freaking died?
لدي مهمة. لدي القرو. أسرعوا أيها القرويون. لدي مهمة. ما هي الأوامر؟ لدي مهمة.
فهم كما تشاء.
I'm just gonna delete it before it burns.
الأعداء قريبون.
سأنتظر. مستعدون على الفور. أجل. سأفعل. أجل.
أتحرك الآن. سأبدأ العمل. وصل الكشافة.
I killed the wolf and it killed me at the same time.
الرماح. أجل.
أتحرك الآن.
أجل. أسير.
لدي سأنطلق.
الميليشيا.
العدو.
كما تقول. أغير الماضي الأمر. سأفعل ذلك وقفت مكاني. مفهوم. سأضع
حاجتك؟
الرماح.
نواجه مشكلة هنا.
الرماحون جاهز للعمل.
I just want 2 spearmen, that's it.
ما حاجتك؟ بالحال سيتم تشييد ذلك.
الرماح.
وصل الكشاف.
ما حاجتك؟
Oh, he didn't die.
مستعدون.
جاهزة أمرك. سأفعل. اصغوا. سأفعل ذلك.
وصل. استعدوا. سير. أجل. الميليشيا. جيدة.
ما حاجتك؟ لدي مهمة. ذاهب الآن.
Volunteer activated, good.
الميليشيا.
I just want 2 spearmen.
مرحبا.
أوامرك بالطبع.
مستعدون.
I expect Mangidai next.
الرماح سيروا أيها الرماحون. مفهوم. الميليش أغير
لدي
الموضع.
مهمة. الفارس مستعد.
ما حاجتك؟
سأبني هذا.
لدي جاهز للعمل. أجل.
سأنطلق. سيتم تشييد ذلك.
لدي مهمة. ما حاجتك؟ استعدوا جميعا. كما تشاء. ما حاجتك؟ مفهوم. أمرك يا سيد. أجل. مرحبا. سأبدأ العمل. سأفعل ذلك. سأبني هذا.
الرامي مستعد. تحت الهجوم.
Yeah, villagers cost less.
السهم مشدود. يتحرك. أعبر راكبا.
Looks like he didn't go for the water in the corner, but maybe in the middle of the map.
إنه معي. سأركب. إلى المعركة. أتحرك الآن.
لدي القرويون هنا. سأبدأ العمل.
ما حاجتك؟ القوس قضي الأمر. القرويون هنا.
أغلقوا.
الآن ثمة إصلاحات للقيام. تحركوا. سأبدأ التعدين.
تم. جيدا. استعدوا جميعا. في الحال. الرامي مستعد.
مرحبا.
Okay, that's suspicious.
أيها الرماة.
Are we getting towered somewhere?
لدي مهمة.
Any lamers?
شدوا أقواسكم أيها. أوامرك يا سيدي.
سأنفذ. كونوا متأهلين. اذهبوا أيها الرماة.
أجل. الأوامر قادمة. أجل.
مرحبا. كونوا متأهبين.
أجل. سأنطلق. ما حاجة؟ أنا متجه. ما هي الأوامر؟ أسرعوا. أتحرك الآن.
أيها الرماة حان الوقت.
ما حاجتك؟
Lumber, kind of an issue too.
أيها الرماة استعدوا.
وصل الكلام.
Okay, it's the YAM network, of course.
بالطبع.
شدوا أقواسكم أيها
Let's bring some archers over.
أيها الرماة. القوس. نعم بالطبع.
أوامرك يا سيدي.
أيها الرماة هجموا.
لدي
استمعوا بحرص. الرماة. أسيروا الآن. أيها الرماة استعدوا.
اصغوا.
نقطة. أنا ذاهب. كما نعم.
أيها الفارس مستعد. الرامي مستعد. كونوا ماهيا. سأفعل.
سيروا إلى الأمام.
أصبوا. توغلت. لدي مهمة.
شدوا أقواسكم. الرامي يكونوا متأهلين. أيها الرماة تقدموا. أشهد. أنا ذاهب. أيها الرماة
حاضرون.
سيروا إلى الأمام.
استعدوا جميعا.
شدوا أقواسكم.
أمرك سيدي. لدي مهمة. أمرك. سأفعل. لدي مهمة. أيها الرومان اتبعوا الأوامر.
أجل سأفعل. كونوا مستعد. الرماحون يتحركون.
استعدوا جميعا. إذا فلتتحرك. كونوا متأهبين. القوس جاهز. تحركوا أيها الرومان.
I can castle H pretty early.
أيها الرومان نعم جاهز. أنا متأهب.
أغير الموقع.
شدوا أقواسكم أيها الرومان. الأوامر قادرة. أيها الرومان استعدوا. تحركوا أيها الرومان. استعد. شدوا أقواسكم أيها ذاهب إلى الأفق.
تحركوا. يكونوا الرماح. أفعل ذلك.
قضي الأمر.
نحن القرويون حان وقت الاستكشاف.
أجل. مرحبا. سأبدأ العمل.
لدي مهمة أنتظر.
أيها شدوا أمرك سيدي. أيها الرومان اتبعوا الأوامر. تحت التهديد. الرامي مستعد. أيها الرومان استعدوا.
It's really helpful to have a framework for what I wanted at every phase.
أيها الرومان حان الوقت.
Now I'm able to much better follow up on those goals.
أصبوا. سأفعل ذلك. شدوا أقواسكم أيها الرومان. سيروا إلى الأمام.
أجل.
أصبوا.
إذا فلتتحركوا.
أعطني الأوامر.
جاهزة للعمل.
جاهز للعمل. أنا متجه. كونوا متأهب أيها الرومان.
Including which upgrades I want and stuff.
كونوا متأهبين. تحركوا أيها الرومان. شدوا أقواسكم أيها الرومان. نعم بالطبع. سأتوقف.
أجل. مرحبا.
أيها الرومان.
I've done so much better
تحركوا.
now. And so now I want gold, because I know I need 1500 golds when I get to the tier upgrade.
أنا ذاهب.
استعدوا جميعا. حان وقت شدوا أقواسكم. قضي الأمر. كونوا أيها الرومان.
ما حاج أمرك.
أيها اذهبوا أيها الرومان. أيها الرومان حان الوقت. اذهبوا أيها.
أجل. مرحبا.
أيها قضي الأمر. أجل. مرحبا. أجل. مرحبا. شدوا أقواسكم أيها الرماح. أسير الآن. تحركوا أيها الرومان.
جاهزة للعالم كما تشاء. أجل. مرحبا.
أجل. مفهوم. الأوامر قادمة. مفهوم. أمرك سيدي. أيها الرومان استعدوا. كونوا أيها الرومان. حان الوقت. أيها شدوا أقواسكم أيها الرومان.
I'll get
كونوا سيروا إلى
I'll
الأمام.
get a few I'll get 2 camel riders.
أيها الرومان حنشدوا أقواسكم أيها الرومان. أيها علي التوقف.
He's castle age, we're getting there as well, so no worries.
ذاهبة الآن.
لدي مهمة. كونوا متأهبين. اذهبوا أيها الرومان.
ما حاجتك؟
أيها الرومان استعدوا.
9 on gold, is that enough? No.
أتريد أن أضع لدي خطأ؟
أيها الرومان سأفعل.
Let's get this.
كونوا متأهبين. ما حاجته؟ أيها الرومان تحركوا أيها الرومان. أيها الرومان شدوا أقواسكم أيها الرومان. أقصدوا أيها الرومان إلى الأمام الآن. أقصدوا يا رجال.
New age begins. Nice. We want this. Reduce the cost of upgrades.
سأفعل ذلك.
We need some wood for upgrades.
جاهزون للانطلاق.
Let's get veteran archers. And this.
أيها الجنود
Like I said, 2 veterancies. Attack upgrade for range. Looks like I'm a bit overfooded.
جميعا.
اصمتوا. لدي الرماحون ذا.
ماذا لديك
قريبا
لأفعل؟
تأتينا أوامر جديدة.
Oh wait. Wait for this to finish first.
قريبا تأتينا أوامر جديدة يا
أنصتوا يا قوم. أوامر جديدة.
ماذا لديك لأفعال؟
حمضا. هذا أمر. وجهوا الأعين إلى الأمام. نافذ.
حسنا.
Wait for the upgrade.
يريد الموت.
القوائد القادمة. أنفذ الأوامر. أطيع الأوامر. امضوا.
finished? Okay, good.
أيها الجنود سيحدث توقفت.
حان وقت في طريقي إلى هناك. ماذا لديك يا فعل؟ سأبني ذلك لأجلك يا سيدي.
لدينا أوامر للجميع هنا.
أصلوا جميعا.
قريبا أضيع الأوامر.
تحركوا. اتخذوا مواقعكم.
القذائف أطلقت. القوس جاهز، تقدموا إلى الأمام.
وقت التحرك جميعا. جهزوا أنفسكم. استعدوا إلى أمر أيها القرويون. كما أمر. استعدوا. تحركوا جميعا. الأوامر قادمة إلينا. حان وقت التحرك. تحركوا. اتخذوا مواقعكم. أصلوا جميعا. انتبهوا، سأفعل هذا الآن. حان وقت. تحركوا جميعا. الأوامر قادمة إلينا. مستعد لإطلاق انتبهوا جميعا. سأبني ذلك الآن.
ماذا لديك لي؟
حان وقت العمل. حان وقت العمل. سأفعل ما القرار.
آنت الأوامر.
أنصتوا يا قوم. أنفذ. انتبهوا أيها الجنود. استعدوا أيها المحاربون. لدينا أوامر.
حان وقت العصا.
أنصتوا يا قوم. لم يضر المشي أحدا مكانا. علينا هذه ببعض العمل. الأوامر قادمة. أصغوا جميعا. إلى أين أذهب؟
حان وقت العصا.
ماذا لديك لأفعل؟
أنا أتوقع.
ماذا لديك لأفعل؟ بناء مشيد جيدا.
استعدوا أيها. حان وقت العمل. حان وقت
حان وقت
العمل.
العمل.
انتبهوا جميعا. حان وقت التحرك جميعا. سأنهي بناء ذلك. انتبهوا أيها الجنود.
صمتا، هذا أمر هام.
على استعداد لبعض. انتبهوا، حان وقت التحرك جميعا.
Okay, we can actually fortify a position if we wanted to.
أيها الجنود انتبهوا الآن.
سأبني ذلك. انتبهوا جميعا.
لدينا أوامر للجميع
Nice,
هنا.
golden age.
ماذا لديك لأفعل؟
We actually have a lot of resources.
صمتا.
حان وقت الأوامر. اصطفوا. لدينا أصبوا. تحركوا جميعا. حان وقت. انتبهوا جميعا. نحن تحركوا. اتخذوا مواقعكم. لقد عثرتوا على الأعداء. تماما.
أقبلوا رماة السهام، ستأتي الأوامر قريبا.
ماذا لديك لأفعل؟
القرويون على أوامر الشباب. القرويون.
الرماة اتبعوني أيها الجنود.
الآلة
أقبلوا.
انتبهوا جيدا للأوامر.
أنا قريبا تأتينا أوامر جديدة يا رجال. أيها الجنود. صمتا، هذا أمر هام.
الآلة الجهنمية.
ماذا لديك لأفعل؟
انتبهوا.
آنت الأوامر.
حان وقت التحرك جميعا. حان. اعتبر الأمر.
آنت الأوامر. حركوا. اتخذوا مواقعكم.
أصبوا جميعا. تحركوا.
لدينا أوامر.
كل شيء جاهز.
اتبعوني أي قريبا تأتي.
آلات أيتها الآلات.
حان وقت الأمر.
الآلة الجهنمية إلى الأمام. يا آلات.
على استعداد.
حان وقت الأوامر.
تحركوا جميعا.
كل شيء جاهز. يا آلات الحصار.
حسنا، ما المطلوب؟
لدينا
آلات إلى كل كما تشاء.
انتبهوا جميعا.
آلات
صمتا، هذا أمر. سيروا معي.
الجهنمية تنتظر الأوامر. آلات الحصار. الآلة الجهنمية.
الرماة راكبوا الجمال.
آلات الحصار مستعد.
استعدوا للعمل.
أقبلوا. كل شيء جاهز.
استعدوا للأوامر أيها القرويون.
آلات أيتها
Nice.
انتبهوا كما تأمر.
Now we're gonna make some rams. We're gonna take him to Ram Town.
أنا أؤدي عملي. الآلات على رماة السهام. الآلة الجهنمية.
القرويون على
أعطني أي هدف.
حان وقت الأوامر. سأبني ذلك الآن. ماذا لديك؟ اعتبر حسنا.
حان وقت العمل.
قريبا.
الآلة الجهنمية تنتظر الأوامر. انتبهوا شيئا.
أنصتوا إلى الأوامر.
حان وقت.
الآلات مستعدة.
على استعداد.
أصغوا جميعا.
كما أمرت. اصغوا، حان وقت التحرك جميعا. حان وقت العمل. سأنهي.
حان وقت العمل.
الآلة
على استعداد. آلاتك مستعدة. من يريد أن أقتله؟ تنطلق الآلات.
أنصتوا.
انتبهوا جميعا، تحركوا جميعا.
لقد انتهى. حان وقت العمل. حسنا، حان وقت التحرك.
آلات الحصار مستعدة.
على استعداد
انتبهوا جميعا.
الآن كل شيء.
أوامرك.
حسنا، ما المطلوب في طريقي؟
الآن يا رجال.
آلاتك مستعدة.
اصغوا جميعا. استعدوا للأمام.
جميع الآلات. على استعداد أنفذ الأوامر.
جميع
Nice outside.
الآلة الجهنمية تنتظر الأوامر.
Luckily we won. Emergency TC instantly died. Didn't know there was water here. GG. Yo, that was a great demonstration though for the build and the priorities. I think I floated way too many resources, but I've rarely played this structured. Oh my god, my town center just evaporated. I don't think I did a great job of finding new sources of gold. I don't think I did a great job making a town center that instantly died in face of his army where he was mass mining gold. But I did defend his harass very effectively. Yesterday we lost to a Mongol that did exactly this build, or very similar anyway. Horseman or scout harass into Mangidai, and some. It was better. It was better performed yesterday, like tower rush. And today we made way more outposts to help defend, which was super useful. Hera said it's okay to watch his VODs. He also accepted your friend request. Awesome. That's great. That single spearman won you that game. Yo, thanks for the sub, guys. Biologin, hell yeah. Oberwald, Shadowflare, 88 with the 76 months. And will you attend some tournaments in the next weeks? So I'm busy every weekend for Heroes of the Storm. For a few hours every weekend. But if there's H tournaments that I am able to play in, I'd love to give it a spin, yeah. Yeah, I played a lot more meta this game. Dobro est, say Vorkas. Spasibo. Yeah, I didn't do any workarounds, did I, Knowasi?
لما تأمر؟ مستعد.
如果你看得很开心，可以考虑检查一下你是否有抽出试试。Wenn dir das Anschauen jetzt Spaß macht, erwäge zu überprüfen, ob du eine Twitch Prime hast. Si vous vous amusez à regarder, pensez à vérifier si vous avez une Twitch Prime. The Chinese wasn't half bad. Let me guess, you don't speak. Als je het naar je zin hebt om te kijken, en je hebt het naar je zin, kan je altijd kijken of je een Twitch Prime nog in de kassa hebt liggen. I do speak Chinese, it wasn't bad. At least you kind of understood, right? Now some Spanish. Okay, let me check. Spanish. My Spanish is very good. You want to hear it? Manuel. There's no Spanish in Google Translate. What? It's just not a very popular language, I guess. Si te diviertes viendo, considera comprobar si tienes un Twitch Prime. Se ti stai divertendo a guardare, considera di controllare se hai un Twitch Prime. So, villager count, he's at 21, I'm at 19. I did lose a villager here on stone. I want to recommend to people to delete your buildings before Mongols burn it, if you notice that they're going to die anyway. It's the first time I thought of it now, and I think it's helpful. A Português? You want to hear the Portuguese? Se voce está se divertindo, assistindo, considera verificar se voce tem primo de contração muscular. Wait, he still gets the resources? Why? You have to delete before they touch the building. Jesus. Oh, okay. Then you just... I guess they didn't want to allow you to destroy it without the advantage. You need to delete before first hit. Got it. Yeah, the last part was totally wrong. Contração muscular? What? Muscular? So, well, villager count 27, 26. I think he just killed the one villager, and that constitutes the entire difference between him and I. Just the one he killed. So that's not that big of a deal. I don't think it was worth the 4 early horsemen. So we are considered to be quite far ahead. Now he's going for double Mangidai. And I'm going archers. And let me tell you something, guys. Outposts, just a few. Outposts and archers completely shut down Mangidai. Walls can help, but it's really not necessary. This game I was just happily gathering. And of course, I had an advantage to have the docks, but I still did the safe thing and made the outpost. So if he comes here, tries to kill my dock, I've got one villager, one tower. That's gonna save me. Now say it in Arabic. All right.
إذا كنت
تستمتع بالمشاهدة ففكر في التحقق مما قد كان لديك تويتش برايم. Croatian. What? Ako z zablavžače gledajući razmišljite o tome imate li držaž premijare. Yeah, you did miss French. That was terrible, but good try. Om du har rolig när du tittar överväg att kolla om du har en rike Prime. Twitch Prime. Oh, I get it. In some languages it's taking Twitch and it says muscular, involuntary muscular move. That's why it's giving these weird words. Grubby sounds like the Vikings actor when he speaks Swedish. Where did we end up at this time? Waar hamnade we den hergangen? Okej, det dags att titta på några stormhjältar. Ouch, my heritage. You're Swedish. It's beautiful. Have you ever had an IQ test? Yes, I succeeded. I completed it. Min IQ mycket högre än solen. My IQ is higher than the sun. It's very higher than the sun. So now we're at 56, 46 villagers. He does have a second TC, but... Oh wait, it's because of the boats. 7 votes. The score is bugged. Mongo always has a higher score. Hey, I really like this game in the methodical approach. I've been playing Brain Dead by comparison. Is my resource balance quite perfect? No, not at all. And that needs to be rebalanced. I need to remember, if I'm going mass archers, to have far more on wood and fewer on food. Because of the balance of archer cost. That's what we're going to improve next time. For now, I'm going to be hosting over a raid to Heroes of the Storm channel, where I'm going to be casting some hats. That's going to be happening every Saturday and Sunday, pretty much. But we'll be streaming AOE4 before and after it. So tonight after it as well. Could be in like 5 hours from now. So we'll be back to H. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was a short one. But we did some really good analysis. And I think it's going to make our gameplay better. My resources, pretty ridiculously high. I could go to like H4 Imperial at 17 minutes. The chances that you would be alive against someone that actually pressures you, not as high. So, a little bit more proactive, better wood balance. Like, I think I should have had this wood balance. I'm gonna raid you over, Bazooka Joe. And hopefully I'll be able to host some Age of Empires 4 tourneys together with Heroes Hearth. But we'll see if that works out. And because we need to talk about the details. So if you want to check out what they're all about and just enjoy listening to our dulcet tones casting some Heroes of the Storm, I'll see you there. If all you care about is Age, I'll be back in like 5 hours. And they'll raid me back. So. Alright, thanks for watching today, and see you tonight in 5 hours. Thanks for the sub, Enoxy TV, enjoying the cozy AOE4 streams lately. Blader Ender, Leggy, Glorious Lotus, Anna Duliter, Momoli, Big Yellow, Anonymous, Cox Quain, Olive Trees, Save Orcas, Biologin, Hell Yeah, Uberwald, Verde Fabi, Bereit voor de Geheißen. Thanks, guys. Let's go, raid!